ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹਾਂ। ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਨੂੰ ਗਵਰਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੌਖਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਘਟਨਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਇੰਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਚੈਲੰਜਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਸਟਿਲ ਗਵਰਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਫੈਕਟਿਵਲੀ ਗਵਰਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਵੀ ਹੋਏ, ਇੱਥੇ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਔਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਵੀ ਘੱਟ ਹੋਏ। ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਔਰ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੋਣੇ ਹੈ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆਨਸਰ ਦੇਣ ਲਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਰਫਾਰਮੈਂਸ ਪਿਛਲੇ 3 ਸਾਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਰਹੀ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ ਸ਼ੋ।
Always a pleasure to be on Prime Asia.
Mayor, I have all the questions for you. These are not my questions, these are the community's questions. But starting with how you rate your performance in the last 3 years so far, because next year we have elections also coming.
I think we're doing quite well at Brampton City Hall. A lot of people thought that we had overly ambitious plans. When I said we were going to freeze taxes, people said, no way. Okay. And we have. When people said we're gonna invest in new police officers each year, they might have been pleasantly surprised that we've been able to. When I said we were gonna lobby the provincial government to get a new hospital, I think a lot of people thought that had been a dream that we'd never achieve. And here we are with the tender that has been issued for the new hospital. So I think this is a city council and a team at City Hall that continues to exceed expectations and deliver for residents. So I'm happy with the success we're having, but we got more work to do. I want to make sure that Brampton is an example for other municipalities.
Okay. Mayor, as you said that there is more work to be done here in city of Brampton. What are the main challenges you see in front of you? Because first of all, compliment to you because you have made a strong bond between all the communities. You are present in every single event we see in the city of Brampton. Either it's a Gujarati community, Punjabi community, Bangladeshi, and any other community, you are there. That's a hats off to you. But what are the challenges you see in front of you that you think in last 3 years you have not done? These are the challenges and I have to do more into this. Major challenges.
So we have ongoing challenges that we've seen a rise in gun and gang activity throughout the GTA. Normally you would see gun and gang activity in Toronto, and now it's really expanded into the suburbs. So we're working in concert with chiefs of police across the GTA to have a collaborative response to this gang activity. Gangs don't respect postal codes, and so we need to be just as sophisticated and just as deliberate in breaking up these criminal organizations that really pierce the sense of safety that we have in our communities. I think that's one ongoing challenge we have, to be just as sophisticated as these criminal organizations. Another ongoing challenge is COVID has really been an unexpected surprise from left field. And it has been devastating to the healthcare system, but also devastating for small businesses. And so as we emerge from COVID, we want to make sure that our business community, which has been resilient, but make no mistake about it, they've been resilient, but it's been hard. And so we need to make sure that we lift them up and create opportunities for them.
Mayor, we saw you when there is a weekly updates, COVID update, you had a banner that Brampton asked funding. How much funding did Brampton got in last 3 to 4 years, and how much it was supposed to get? Because when we talked to the people, they said Brampton share was 900 million, 700 plus million, or approximately 900 million. But Brampton got only 42 million. Is that correct, or there is some correction to be done?
Yeah, so that's not correct.
Okay.
No. So listen, I want Brampton to finally get its fair share, but we have over the last 3 years had the largest investment in Brampton from the federal and provincial governments in the history of our city. And whether it was the new transit facility, whether it's electric vehicles, whether it's the new hospital, the med school, Riverwalk, we've seen billions of dollars in investment from the provincial and federal governments, not to mention the COVID relief funding. So we've seen a record amount of provincial and federal funding in Brampton. But it's about time. For too long, we were forgotten. The fact that we've had success now with the gun and gang funding from the province for the Peel Police, the new hospital, the new med school, the transit facility, the electrification of our fleets, the partnerships with some of our recreation centers. These are wins for our community, but I reiterate, long overdue.
But Mayor, how come these figures come in front? Because the activities, the people who are there they ask questions. They said Brampton was supposed to get 900 million. If we talk about the figures, and got only 42 million.
That may be.
Do you have figures? Any figures?
That may be someone who may not understand the figures, but the city has released a list of provincial and federal funding.
Okay.
Maybe the person who shared that figure, if you didn't, is speaking to one single grant, not the collection of investments. And listen, I'm all for holding the province and the federal government accountable and keeping their feet under the fire to deliver for us. But I'm not someone that believes in utilizing false information. So to say that they only delivered 42 million would be a lie and a disservice to the type of collaborative relationship we've had with the federal and provincial government. We've seen literally record investment from our provincial and federal counterparts, and I think it's because we really push for Brampton's fair share.
So are you satisfied with the funding which Brampton got or Brampton is getting?
Listen, I'm happy with the progress we're making, but more needs to be done. And when I say more needs to be done, I'm happy with the commitment for the new hospital. But at some point, we're going to need an announcement on the planning grant for the third hospital. I want to see a Brampton University in our city. We got the funding for the new transit facility, but we need to have electric chargers there. We still need to get that funding. So there's several missing components that I'm still working on. So we've had great success, but that's not to say that we've got everything on our wish list.
Okay. Mayor, before federal elections, you took pledges from all the candidates. That time you were not aware who is going to win. But you have signed all those pledges from the candidates. Now they are member of parliaments. So what does that stand for? And do you think those will matter for you to push further to the province or to the federal to get more funding for the Brampton?
Well, this was a deliberate strategy. We wanted those aspiring to be MPs to put their name and their signature, their word, their honor behind a commitment to the city and to its residents for projects that were currently before the government in Ottawa. So I'm very pleased that all the 5 MPs who were successful in becoming MPs happened to sign the pledge. And we are actively working on it. Just last week, I was in Ottawa speaking with the Prime Minister, and we were talking about the Brampton Pledge, the Brampton 5, he said, the ask. So we're actively working with the federal government on how we could get this supported and financed. And I'm glad that our federal election ask made it all the way to the Prime Minister's ears. And when I saw him last week, one of the first things he wanted to talk about was our ask.
Okay, so can we see those pledges?
Yeah, if you want to have a copy, the city has not. The city has kept all those signed documents, and we've shared it on social media as well.
Okay, thank you. We will show you the pledges those candidates, those member of parliaments made for the Brampton, and together as a team, let's hope for the best because we have a best mayor in town, and if we don't get now anything, it's very hard for us. Mayor, if we discuss about the issues, the number one is auto insurance. You pushed a lot. There was a campaign going on. You pushed on the city's website also. There was a petition also. What do you think? Where are we standing in terms of auto insurance as of today? Next year will be the city's elections. Next year will be the province election. So what is the...
as you know, auto insurance isn't regulated by the city of Brampton. It's regulated by the province of Ontario. When I was in the provincial legislature, I advocated to end postal discrimination in auto insurance to the point that I put it in my platform when I was the provincial opposition leader, the People's Guarantee. And that commitment to end postal code discrimination, I felt, was an issue of equity and fairness, and is why I fought for it provincially. I've continued that fight here in Brampton. There are a lot of communities, whether it's Scarborough or Markham or Brampton or North Mississauga, that are really unfairly treated when it comes to auto insurance. And I don't believe we should allow these big insurance companies to charge whatever they want. I think there needs to be measures of accountability like we see in other provinces. So ultimately it's up to the province. I know that a local MPP Garaatan Singh passed a motion calling for the end of postal code discrimination. Another MPP nearby in Milton, Parm Gill, passed a motion. But ultimately, it would be up to the provincial government to act upon those two private members' bills and do the right thing. And we're going to continue to lobby for that.
Mayor, in terms of the university, which university is coming? Again, the same question. Bramptonians, they need a university. Their children are going far away for their needs of the education. Brampton has a more than million population, and we don't have a university. What is the status as of today? Brampton U or Ryerson University? Because before 3 years ago, previous government, we saw those were only talks. Again, the elections are coming next year. What is the status of a university today?
So 3 years ago, there was a promise of a satellite campus, which the provincial government then canceled. And we thought that was an opportunity to really push for not just a satellite campus, but something more meaningful, something more lasting. We've had some success in the sense that the provincial government has announced a med school for Brampton, the first in 100 years in the GTA. Very prestigious to have a medical school in your community. And the economic repercussions are significant. A lot of medical technology companies want to locate within the orbit of a medical school. We've already had a number of medical technology companies reach out to the city of Brampton asking where the med school is going to be because they want to have some synergies with this new Ryerson med school. So that is big news. It's wonderful news for the community. But as I've said to the provincial government, I welcome their commitment for a med school, but I still want to see a Brampton U. And so we're continuing to push that. And I want to give credit to Councillor Rowena Santos and Councillor Harkirat Singh, who have been really outspoken on the need for our own university. And we're going to continue to fight for that. Actually, all of our council, our council unanimously endorsed a proposal for a Brampton University.
Okay, when we talked to the Ministry of University and Colleges, they said we have not received any proposal from the city. Is that correct? Because this is a few months ago, maybe before the elections when we talked to them. So is any proposal with the Ministry of Colleges University from city?
Yeah, I remember at the time we talked about that, and it appeared to be some broken telephone because it was presented on 3 occasions.
Okay.
And actually we did a town hall with the provincial representatives. So David Piccini at the time, he's now the Ministry of the Environment. Before he was the Minister of Education. He did the town hall where we went over feedback on the submission. So yeah, we're going to continue to push for this university, and I'm grateful that our local MPPs, government MPPs, Amarjot Sandhu and Pravneet Sakaria are supporting Brampton's push for our own university.
Mayor, for the question of cannabis, people, Bramptonians, they are asking for the university, hospital, healthcare. They are also getting the cannabis stores, 50 cannabis stores. A few weeks ago, we saw a protest also outside the city hall. What do you have to say to the Bramptonians for the cannabis store getting here lots of? And that's a big concern for the residents.
So in 2015, Justin Trudeau was elected Prime Minister, and part of his mandate was to legalize marijuana. It's not a substance that I've ever used or would encourage anyone to abide by, but the rule is in Canada, it's legal. And no political party in Canada is pledging to change that. The last election, all the opposition parties said that they were going to support the Trudeau decision to legalize cannabis. The provincial government made a decision to sell it online and in municipalities. But they also said a municipality would have a choice to ban it if they so wished. But if they decided to ban it, they wouldn't have the provincial funding for law enforcement to crack down on drug-impaired driving, for bylaw to shut down on illegal dispensaries. And so the communities that accepted the provincial partnership were able to shut down illegal dispensaries. The ones that didn't have had a plethora of illegal dispensaries successfully rooted. And so there tends to be more cannabis locations in communities that did not accept the provincial funding. And the last thing we want is illegal cannabis dispensaries. I don't want to see criminal organizations profit off cannabis. And so I'm pleased to report that in Brampton, with this provincial funding and the support of the Peel Police, we've been able to shut down all the illegal dispensaries, which means before there was an estimated almost 90 illegal dispensaries in Brampton, and we've been able to shut all those 90 dispensaries down.
Mayor, I was very vocal for the bail reforms. Always I kept on asking you, because reason is where I see a hope. I see a hope in you. Bramptonians see a hope on you, and you are vocal for taking that voice further forward. Where are we standing today? Number one, because there last weekend only, the one of the restaurant was vandalized. Now police caught those 5 culprits. It's in their hold. Will we get a result? Will those be punished, or they will be out on bail, as that's for them it's a very small crime, vandalizing a restaurant. But major crime has been happened here in Canada, here in Peel, by murdering someone and you're out on some way. We had someone whose residence, they have in their basement, they have a criminal in their house. He is being tracked by ankle tracker, so he's not quitting the house. So those situations are there. Where are we standing, and what step you can take further so that we can push federal to have the bail reforms?
Yeah, we've been leading the charge in Brampton across Canada for bail reform. We call it catch and release. The police do the hard work to get the individuals behind crimes, behind bars, and then they get released. It's a revolving door nature of the justice system. I'd encourage every resident who can to go to bailreformnow.com. Sign our petition. We're trying to build momentum across the country to convince the Minister of Justice to make the changes to have tougher conditions for bail. I don't believe that dangerous predators should be released on bail. I don't believe that these gun and gang criminals should be released on bail. There is enough evidence now that you have the same people committing the same crimes. They get released and they commit another heinous offense. And so we need to make sure that we don't waste the efforts of police and neighborhoods to make sure that these individuals who are responsible for piercing our sense of safety are where they belong, and that's behind bars.
So, Mayor da कहना है कि bailreform.com ते जाके तुसी भी petition sign करो, because that's the must. अगर असी
bailreformnow.ca
bailreformnow.ca so ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੈਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰੋ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਅਗਰ ਸਿਟੀ ਜਾਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਡਮਿਨਿਸਟ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਪੈਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰੀਏ bailreformnow.ca. Mayor, about the restaurant incidents, the culprits are caught. Do you think police should not release them, because they are there in the police custody now? So what should they do? Because some of the owners and biggest hit industry was a restaurant industry, and this restaurant was vandalized. So what, in your opinion, the Tandoor Haveli, that restaurant being vandalized, the people were dying in there in the last weekend. So police caught all those 5 culprits who did that crime. So in your opinion, what should be the next step?
So are you asking what charges are being laid, or
charges we don't know, but they are in the custody. They should not be released. They should be deported. They should be accountable, so that one can do a business freely here, not under some...
So once again, this relates back to bail reform. It will be a justice of the peace that determines whether they're given bail. And in my opinion, quite too often individuals like this are released when they continue to be a threat to the community. I don't know the particulars of the case you're speaking to, but the individuals charged, or if they have any past history. But what I would say is repeat offenders, dangerous offenders, people that attack and rob our sense of safety. We need to think less about them and more about the victims.
Mayor, there were allegations on the city staffs about the corruption. Then the third party, they investigated, everything came out clean. After that also, some people, they were not happy that it's not fair, and they never got their case heard. And they are saying that city spent a lot of money on the investigation. What do you have to say to the Bramptonians of that?
So, first of all, it shows that people that sometimes throw allegations up, what you put on the internet is not necessarily accurate. In this case, we have an internal mechanism that investigates wrongdoings, and we have an internal audit process at the city. We have an internal auditor, KPMG. I felt our internal mechanisms would have been adequate, but some people felt that to be extra sure, we should send it out to a third party, not selected by council, but selected by the city clerk. It was a costly process, but it vindicated our staff that that there wasn't a wrongdoing. I'm just glad that we can move beyond this that chapter and really get everyone focused on getting results for Brampton. We need to focus on our fair share for Brampton. We need to focus on running the city. But I think we showed in that process that we take all allegations seriously and investigate them. And that's a good policy to have in a city. It shows that we have a council and a mayor that really look at any allegation presented.
So everything is good in City Hall, no infighting, everything is on? Listen,
part of democracy is to have debates. Part of democracy is to have hard discussions. It's really only in third world dictatorships where you have no dissent.
That's right.
I welcome dissent. I think dissent helps, it leads to good decisions. When you challenge every new idea, that vetting process in a democracy is a good thing.
Mayor, every elections we see a lot of lawn signs. It's our suggestion, my personal suggestion, why don't city make some bylaws so that those lawn signs are one place and one ward, not whole of the city, because we saw the lot of fights going on between one party and other party, the supporters they fight, and that's a lot of mess during elections. When elections pass, we forget those things. Again, next year will be have elections. So why don't city make some policy to have lawn signs only one particular area in each ward?
So that was actually a proposal put forward by a local councillor saying that the environmental toll of all these lawn signs, there's a consequence to that. She passed a resolution to look into this. It appeared like the legal feedback was that would be restricting freedom of expression. And so city council doesn't have the ability to do that. There were some people felt that it would overly protect incumbents and would curtail the freedom of expression. And so that's something, as much as it might be cleaner for the city, we do live in a country where there are protections for freedom of expression, and having signs out during an election fall within that envelope of rights.
Okay. Mayor, everybody loves sports. You're also a sport lover. I'm also a sport lover, and Bramptonians are all sport lover. And you made a decision to have a cricket stadium. First of all, sport lovers, they thanked you for having a floodlights, night lights for all the stadiums.
At the Terremoto field, yeah.
That's right. They are so happy that you have all the floodlights and the kids are playing during nighttime also.
We're trying to make Brampton the cricket capital of North America. Right now, you look at cities in Canada, we don't spend money on cricket. But Canada is changing. This is not the Canada of 1960. It's been a bit of a fight for me to push to get cricket recognized.
But why some people are there protesting that this 35 million approximately cost is not...
And so let me ask you that, Nitin, because I find it disappointing. Right now, we spend on our parks budget 0.6% of our budget on cricket. 0.6%. Yet we have 40% of our residents who play cricket. So we have 0.6% of our budget, not even 1%, Nitin, that we spend on cricket. And for me, I'm not a cricket player. I love hockey and tennis. But I also know I have a responsibility to serve all our residents of our city. And I know there is a passion for cricket. And I think it's a good thing that people want to be active and healthy. And let me say this. Right now we have $264 million being spent on recreation infrastructure in our city. 264 million. Why can't we spend a little bit on cricket? When council came with a request from the lacrosse community to build a lacrosse facility at Victoria Park for 28 million, everyone said yes. When they said we need a new ice rink at Chris Gibson, it's going to be $30 million for this new enhanced facility, everyone said yes. when we needed to have a new recreation center in the Mississauga and Embleton area and a price tag of over 75 million, everyone said yes. When it came to us that we're going to have a field hockey, cricket, and soccer facility in the South End,
Okay.
People said, oh, it's too much money. We can't spend $35 million. We're spending $264 million in other sports. And we want to have a facility that is dedicated to cricket, field hockey, and soccer. And we're having to fight for that. And you know what it bugs me about that is I support these other sports that have been long popular sports in Brampton. The fact that I have to fight for a sport that is particularly popular amongst the Indian, Pakistani, Caribbean community, for me, I find frustrating, honestly. I find it frustrating that every time I want to make an investment in cricket, whether it's new lights or new fields, it's a fight. I say this, I want to make it easy to play every sport in Brampton.
Right.
I want to make it easy that whatever your recreational passion is, that we're going to have the facilities in Brampton. I don't want to make it that people have to leave our city to play their favorite sports. I want to invest in all sports. It shouldn't be lacrosse versus cricket or baseball versus hockey. Let's invest in all our recreational infrastructure.
That's a vision, because I also agree with you. It's not only about cricket versus hockey versus ice hockey. It's a sports. Because if kids are there in the sports, many Asian people, they play cricket, they don't play ice hockey. So if they have an infrastructure, they can play. And that's a good vision.
And by the way, Nitin, just to put this in context, I'm only asking for the same investment in cricket that we already just made in lacrosse and hockey, not more. And by the way, we've already had new hockey rinks for decades in Brampton. We've had new baseball diamonds for decades. We've had lacrosse for decades. If anything, we should be playing catch-up for cricket. Yet all we're asking for is the same investment. Is that wrong?
For putting budget in any kind of sport, either it's a hockey, it's a basketball, it's a volleyball, it's a cricket, putting money in the infrastructure, in the sports is a good step.
So Nitin, I give you credit. You have the pulse of the city. You are very good at knowing different perspectives and the debate we have. Why do you think it is that you always get some pushback against cricket? What is it that causes some people to be uncomfortable with cricket?
I don't know. That's a question we need to ask those who protest that there should not be investment in the cricket, because we see sports as a sports. I don't see ice hockey is bad. It's my bad luck that if I don't play that sport, because I never came here as a small kid. I immigrated to this country when I was quite young. So my passion is towards cricket. My passion is toward hockey or a badminton. I want that facility should be here. I never objected to ice hockey rinks or a basketball or a soccer. It doesn't mean if I don't play, so I don't like. I like every sport. We watch Soccer World Cup, we watch Basketball World Cup, we watch Cricket World Cup. We are sport lovers, and that's way is a good. Instead of our kids going to the wrong direction, to the addiction, if they go to the sports, we say we salute to you, Mayor, because we want investment, infrastructure. Either it's any kind of sports or a university or a hospital. We want this. We don't want where there is a drawback about the cannabis. That hurts that we have that much of stores here. We don't want kids to go addiction into that field.
And one of the best diversions to having young people, be tempted by bad things like whether it's drugs or gangs. One of the best ways to fight against that is to give them things to do. If you invest in recreation and community centers, it's one of the best ways to combat crime. To combat addictions. You invest in a community, you invest in the health of a community.
That's right. And there is a lot of FDA also comes in terms of sports. When 2 years ago, we had a big cricket tournament here with all the teams, all the big players, big names were here.
130 million people watched that on TV. And that was a fight for me. I had to really fight to get support to have it in Brampton. And they said, no one's going to come to it. Nitin, I was there. There was 15,000 people at those games. 130 million people. We had emails from around the world, the people from New Zealand to Australia to Jamaica to India, watching on TV saying, we saw the Brampton sign. I was proud of our community, but once again, it shouldn't be a fight. to host a cricket event.
All the world-named cricketers, Yuvraj Singh or Chris Gale or from the New Zealand, every player was here in the city of Brampton.
Yuvraj
and we were
Singh, Shahid Afridi,
Yes.
we had giants in the cricket world.
giants. Mayor, in terms of the Brampton speeding cameras, do you have any figures how much revenue city collected or how much fine we have issued?
So the city's not making revenue right now at this point. Right now, they're just supporting the cost of the cameras and the collection. So it hasn't been a revenue generator for the city. But what it has achieved, and one of the reasons that we supported putting these cameras in, and we put these cameras in community safety zones. So they only go in an area where there's a school or a community center. And one of the reasons we support it is we've had some problems with reckless, dangerous driving, people speeding, where they really threaten the safety and lives of children. And in the areas we've put in municipal speed cameras, on average speeds are down 10 kilometers. So it's changing behavior. You put a sign up that says, please slow down. You know what happens? People don't slow down. They drive by fast and they look at it. But what these cameras doing, you hit someone's wallet, it changes behavior. Now all of a sudden, in these areas near schools, cars are all of a sudden slowing down. And so that was the goal. The goal was not to be a revenue generator. So I don't mind that it's not making money. I'm just happy that we're changing behavior.
Okay. Mayor, at 2040 vision, where are we standing for that? Because that's a good initiative and Bramptonians were very happy when they saw all those pamphlets. 2040 vision is moving forward. Where are we?
Yeah, I think we're making progress. And as you know, some of the signature promises in the 2040 vision, we're really trying to achieve ahead of time. One of the goals was free transit. And we just passed a motion that we're going to have free transit for seniors. And so we're actually trying to expedite the adoption of the 2040 vision.
Mayor, are you concerned about the crime in region of Peel? Because last weekend you were there in the auto theft rally. Residents, they were pushed to have called all their politicians and made them accountable. So what is your view about the crime? It's very high.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the proliferation of gun and gang problems in our region. And I worry that some of this runoff crime we're seeing is really being organized by criminal syndicates. The last car theft syndicates, as you mentioned the example of car thefts, the last one that the police apprehended was a major international organization that was sending cars from Peel to Montreal, and then off to Turkey and then China to sell. And good on the Peel police, they cracked this syndicate, but there are other gangs that are preying and profiting off criminal activity like this. So am I concerned about the growth of gang activity in the GTA? Absolutely.
We heard your mother's car was also stolen?
Yeah, I think my family is not immune. My own mother had her car stolen, and I've seen so many families that have been touched by that crime. My parents happen to live in Toronto, and so that's not a Brampton incident, but it speaks to the fact there's car theft that happens across the GTA.
Mayor, revitalize Brampton downtown. So where are we standing for that?
Well, we finally got a motion through council.
Okay.
It included an enhanced commitment of $16 million to build a broader pedestrian realm in the downtown. I think right now there's exciting things happening in the downtown, whether it's the Center for Innovation, Beehive, Riverwalk, the Downtown Revitalization Plan. It's an exciting time to be in downtown Brampton. We're seeing a transformation that is going to change the face of downtown Brampton over the next 5 years.
Mayor, in the end, what can be done, what communities should do to make the image of Brampton clean? Because it's everybody's collective responsibility to keep Brampton's image clean and reputed. So what is your message?
Be proud of Brampton. Tell our stories. We've got some of the best artists, athletes, business people in the world. Brag about Brampton. Be proud of Brampton. Talk about our story. We've had some of the most beautiful amenities, beautiful parks and rec facilities in the country. We've got some of the most innovative businesses. We've got talent left, right, and center. And you look at the Alessia Carls, the Russell Peters. Just last week, we awarded the Arts Walk of Fame award to Ian Williams, a world-renowned Geller winner writer. We've got talent in Brampton. Brampton oozes talent and potential and possibility. And so I'd say be Brampton proud.
Mayor, happy with the Brampton or plans to go to the province too?
I'm happy in Brampton. I'm happy serving the city of Brampton and really enjoying this responsibility.
Mayor, thank you very much for taking up all our questions and we wish you all the best. And Bramptonians are proud that we have a mayor who has made all communities together and working day and night for them, because when we see you in every other event, we say we are proud that you are representing city of Brampton in every single event. Thank you.
Always try to bring people together.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. So ਆ ਸੀਗੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ, ਸਾਡੇ ਹਰ ਸਵਾਲ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਸੈਟਿਸਫੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਏ ਆਨਸਰਸ ਤੇ, ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਹੋਏ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਅੱਛੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਹਰ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੈ। ਸਵਾਲ ਲੈਣਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ, ਸਵਾਲ ਦੇ ਆਨਸਰ ਦੇਣੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਸੈਟਿਸਫਾਈ ਸਾਰੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਹੋਣ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਔਖੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਮੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖੇ, ਮੇਅਰ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤੇ। ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਆਉਗੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ ਔਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ। ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਫੇਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਜਲਦ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ। ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ।